trial, huh? Alright. I am here. Hello, hello. What's up, Maximus? How you doing today? We have a lot to work on. Me and one of my friends played like I don't know, like 12 play tests of the game the other day, and I have a lot of notes, so I'm actually pretty excited to actually get working on this. Is my music too loud at all, out of curiosity? I feel like it's louder than normal. Maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm doing good. I'm excited. They made it, okay, that's what I thought. Here, I'll turn it down a bit. I think that's probably about right. That might be overcompensating, but there we go. But yeah, I am excited to work on stuff. There's a lot of little things. Of course, Bridge is still broken, of course. And so is Abyssal Horde. You know, typical normal stuff. For Armies against Entropy. What else we got? There's some stuff with just bad wording. Trading post still off. The biggest thing though is I really want to. I do want to try to tackle death effects, and I think to start, I'm just gonna balance them, and then from there I probably will, like this patch I will do a balance, and then if it's still bad, next patch I will make them negative or non-existent, because right now they just don't make sense. But there's a lot of little things to do, so I'm gonna get right into it, I think. I don't know if I just start at the top and work my way down. Do I feel like tackling Bridge? I don't know. Honestly, the first thing I need to do is I need to do Null Sanctum, because for some reason we transcribed. I should do this. Let's do this. There we go. Null Sanctum, rather than having any useful information, has like, for some reason, just the wording for the death effect of World Ender. So somehow the wrong thing got copy and pasted in there. Where even is it? Null Sanctum. Yeah, destroy a card controlled by the old god, which doesn't really work for. One thing I want to do, I can probably do it this way. Let's look at. The best part about this is I can go through the history. Yo, YZ, what's up? How you doing? History. I love that you can pull up history in it's called something else though. I'm not even looking at everything. Timeline? What is it called? Am I dumb? Let's see, I don't think balancing death effects is the right... I don't think balancing all death effects is the right move. Very death effects gives a harder choice. Okay, sorry, let me... Yeah. No, I agree. Balancing all death effects the same. Yeah, that's... Sorry, yeah. No, that's not really what I meant. I meant, making them fit their... making each death effect fit their respective card that you're fighting. Because right now the death effects are just we didn't change them at all when we rebalanced everything, and so now they don't fit the card that they are. So like sometimes something really easy to control or like kill gives you something really beneficial, whereas something really weak will give you a really good reward, or you know, vice versa. So that is what I'm looking to fix. Doing well, probably going to listen to this while messing around with the Godot. Nice. How am I doing? I'm doing great. I'm excited to work on some of this stuff. I play tested a lot over the weekend and on Tuesday, and now I'm excited to actually get some work done. What is this even called? Version? Yeah, version history. Oh, because I was spelling history with a Y. Why is my brain breaking? Yeah, why is Null Sanctum? Null Sanctum has just been broken for a while, I guess. Okay, let's just go back a lot. That's it right there. Yeah, for some reason, it just says destroy a card, so right now it just destroys their own cards, which is not what we want. So that's fixed. That's one thing. Could have been history. No, yeah, see, I was doing the Y instead of the I. Yeah, no. Could have been history. Yeah, I'll be the first to admit spelling is not my thing. Alright, I remember this one. Control Shift 5? Control Alt 5. There we go. Strike through. Control Alt 5. Alright, yeah, we'll just tackle some of the simple ones to start, and then once my brain's warmed up, we will maybe go to some more complex things. First of all, I think I decided not to do this last time, but I kind of want Wrath to do strongest monster or minion. Just because it's nice to have both. If there's no monsters, it is just worthless right now, so there's almost always a minion on the board. So like that, done. But yeah, Maximus, I definitely agree with you about balancing the effects. I'm just trying to make them, you know, match the card that they're on. Comments in my code are all over the place in spelling. If it weren't for CMV, I'd have hundreds more errors, just because of inconsistency. Yeah, I feel that. I'm too dyslexic to handle words just in general. Actually, you know what? I lied. We're gonna do something more interesting. Let's start with bridge. Let's just start with the bane of my existence. So bridge. The problem with it now is that I don't think it should have two effects, first of all, because one, if the structure is under your control, if a structure you control has an activated unit effect, these effects also apply to your allies. That's extremely strong on its own, but then also having a thing that gives you units is a lot. So the way I think I want to do this is just make this a unit effect, and that just solves the problem. This can probably, I'm gonna save this, and that's gonna go on probably a new structure at some point. But yeah, I think Bridge has too many good synergies and they stack, letting players get huge exponential growth. Yeah, it's just too much power on one card. So I'm gonna start by removing this. We're gonna take this and we're gonna, I've got a new cards thing. Should be old bridge. I want to remove that. And place that on here. I think that's just fixes it. It probably should be higher than 5, like maybe, probably higher, like 8. This has 8 or more units on it. Basically, any structure with unit effects and cards with triggered effects synergize with bridge. Each synergy is strong, even while alone. Agreed. Definitely agreed. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. I still feel like there's a better way to do bridge, because right now it's only affecting other structures, and I do want it to affect structures and heroes, kind of. Just so it's less confusing. Because a lot of time when it's like specific, I think it gets lost in translation. But maybe not. I don't know. So either way, that's definitely a thing. One of the things I do want to do, and I guess while I'm here, and this is the most interesting synergy, gaining like unit effects on something is cool, but not nearly as cool as this. The other thing I want to look at is just unit effects, because them all being 5 is just too little. Some are okay, I think, but some are also not. Like the fortress getting 2. Honestly, I think I want to change most of them to 6 to start, because right now all these were made before you started with 1 unit on your card. And so now you only need 4. So we're gonna start just by making everything 6, and then we're gonna go up from there. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Cleric, I think I need to rework Cleric in general, because they don't feel good. Not that they don't feel good, but they're just not that interesting. And honestly, other cards are just better. Cleric and Paladin both need a rework. So I'm just gonna leave Cleric as is. In fact, maybe even just making this lower, making this, you know, put 4 units on a cleric. So you only need to put 3 units to gain 4 per turn. I think that's kind of nice. Maybe that actually just makes them more useful, but I still kind of want to give them a cooler effect, but that's neither here nor there. Archer, I think is still fine. 10 units, that's good. World Study Mage, I honestly think I could leave that at 5. Biggest reason being is they're heroes, so they're taking damage more often than other cards. So I think giving them a card draw every for 5, or like adding 4 heroes on there is fine, because if you keep it at the bare minimum, you're going to be losing units off of that card. So I think I'm fine with that. Typically, I haven't seen it in a situation where it becomes really broken or anything. You kind of have to balance stuff when it's on a hero like that. Let's see. Necromancer Altar. I'm trying to decide on that one. I think 6 is good. I mean, it does bring your card back into your hand, but you still have to play it, right? And with... So I think that's fine, because you still have to spend the action to put your card back in. Yeah, you can keep getting a hero infinitely, but I don't think it actually matters that much. I think it's less strong than it sounds. It only increases your consistency and not your overall power, really. Fortress, if the structure has 6 or more units on it, you gain 2 heroes when you attack. That's really good, but you also means you have to put units on your fortress, so I think that's fine. Necromancy Altar is potentially more dependent on the hero's power. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like really good if you have something like a warrior, because if they die, you just constantly can put them back up with 5 units on it, which is, you know, really cool. But especially if you have like Goddess of Humanity, and every time you place a card, it gets 2 units, so you can constantly get like a 7-unit card every time your thing dies. But yeah, Necromancy Altar isn't really necessarily super strong on its own. Let's see. Fortress, yeah, getting 2 units when you attack, it's good. But it's an investment, right? If you have to put 6 units on it, you still have to at least have 3 heroes out there, or you know, 1 hero for 3 turns. So I think it's something that's fine as is, because yeah, it kind of feels like you have to invest in it for it to be good. Next gen Altar strength is dependent on if you have synergies with it, or heroes in your hand is also overpowered. Right, for sure. And honestly, it hasn't really ever been to the point where it's like super broken, because I've seen plenty of times where it's, well, not plenty of times, but a few times where sorry, creaky thing there, where the front line's broken through and you lose your fortress. So, or not your fortress, your altar. So I'm okay with that one. Trying to decide if I feel like fortress isn't properly used very often, but I'm almost wondering if I keep it at 5. I'm gonna keep it at 5 for now. No, we're doing 6. Yeah. I think the fact that it doesn't have another effect makes it feel worse, but we'll see. Butcher, I think Butcher's still fine. I honestly haven't had it pop up in a lot of my games, but I think it's still okay. Oh wait, that doesn't even have a unit effect, so I'm just saying things for no reason. Farm. Farm I'm also gonna keep as is. Some of these I just have to watch. Am I leaving all these as is? What am I changing here? Army camp, I'm definitely changing. Because if the structure has 6 or more units on it, you may ignore hero restrictions. That can basically just end the game. So I'm gonna put that at 10. Because yeah, moving hero units from hero to hero can instantly basically end the game if you have some really strong heroes. So that is going to be more expensive. But farm, I think, is okay. Let's see. Mage's Tower. Mage's Tower, I think I'll leave at 6. It could be higher, but I think it's okay. And then bridge we put at 8. I think that's good. I think that's a good balance there. I close my, oh no, I put it over here. Okay. So we did that. So we did bridge. Yeah, the other thing with bridge is it technically in its form that it was in with this effect where it's, what was the effect? Did I just close it? Oh no, here it is. Because the effect was if this structure has 5 more units on it, if an allied triggered effect occurs, you also gain that effect. Any units triggered or placed on the bridge, but it also triggered itself. So it was like, does this infinitely ramp up in units? I feel like one of you was saying something like that. Like, doesn't this do that? And I was like, ah, no, it's not a big deal. But you know, technically it triggers itself forever and it's broken. So whoever said that was right. Well, there's also one of each structure. So Mage's Tower is kept in check because of that as well. Agreed. Yeah, that's totally true. Which actually brings me to another point. The Tundra is much less powerful now, because normally it gains 1 unit for every structures gain a unit in unit phase. So I have 1 or 2 options here, because there's half the number of structures, so this just makes it like you're not seeing nearly as many structures. So I have 2 options. One is to, I think, double the number of units gained on structures, or I just give it like an additional unit spawn, so it gains 1 unit on itself and 1 unit on structures. So I'm not sure about that. Obviously 2 units on structures is inconsistently more powerful. If you have more than 1 structure, it's great, but if you have no structures, it doesn't do anything for you. Whereas if you give it 1 unit, it's got some more consistency, plus you just get some extra on your structures. So yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what I want to do there, but I guess my gut is saying, ugh. What is my gut saying? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Keeping it on structures gives it more of an identity. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, so I'm gonna bump it to 2. I agree with you. It's more interesting in the long run. And the other thing I think I'm going to do is Swamp is just so powerful, I don't think it deserves to have just an innate unit spawn, because it is just constantly generating units from things dying. So I don't think it deserves that sort of consistency of unit generation. Because it's by far the best land right now. So I think getting rid of its innate unit gain balances the game a bit more. Because yeah, Swamp just gaining units on death is just, because 1 unit per structure is like 3 to 4 units per 3 3 to 4 units per turn in a normal game, but 2 per structure makes it worth it. Makes it worth it to try really hard and keep the structures alive. Yeah, for sure, for sure. And the thing is, like, you're getting a lot less structures now. Now there's only 1 copy, so yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot more times where Tundra was just completely worthless. So, okay. Hurry. Tundra, done. That was not what I meant to do. Just bookmark this. Control, yeah, Shift, Alt, 5. We also fixed Swamp. Unifacts should have higher cost. We did that. Cleric and Paladin buff. I gotta think about that. Ooh, yeah, I had a cool idea for Village. Because one thing we don't really have a lot of, even though it's a mechanic, is that, which I guess this might be easier for y'all to see. I don't know. One thing that we have as a mechanic is that, you know, obviously structures are placed on lands, but we don't have a lot of interaction between the two. Really the only thing is forest, and forest is if you have units on it, if you have a structure on it, it gains more units. Which I kind of want to do a reverse thing. So right now, Village has, let me even see it, there we go. Village has, during unit phase, gain 1 additional unit for every 3 units placed on the structure, which is, 1, confusing, and 2, just, I don't know. I feel like it could be better. Maybe better on a different card, especially because Village has like just a unit gain innately. So my thought is I'm going to take this off of this. This will become a new card on its own at some point. I was thinking maybe a land that just gains more units if other units are on it. That's just a thought. That might have to come with what just happened. There we go. My thought is instead, and this might need to be worded better, but this card, sorry, I'm just making sure I didn't just mess something up there. Okay, I really need to just leave this full screen and just jump back and forth. It'll be more, less visually appealing for y'all, but I just don't want to mess this up. So I was thinking of doing doubles all unit production for the land generates double the number of units. And obviously that's really, really, really powerful, but again, we don't have as much structures anymore, and you know, you're sacrificing that space for potentially other more interesting things. Village having innate unit gain lets some unspecified things have impact on games, such as whether or not the effect happens first or the innate unit gain. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So you get it. You get exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, because like it gains a unit and then it like, and then it's like, does it have the 3 units on it? And then I don't know. It's just like a weird thing. So. Is that the same font? Yeah. But yeah, I think it's kind of cooler. Doubles the unit. It should say gain, probably. Units gained of the land it is placed on. I don't know, I feel like that's more interesting. Yeah, exactly, right? It gives a good identity. I mean, it makes it really powerful, but honestly, there's not... I'm wondering if I should... does it need an innate unit gain then, though? I guess it's one of the only 2 structures that gains units on its own. I think I might leave it. If it ends up being just too broken, I'll probably get rid of it, but... And I think it's just fun. And if it's too broken, I'll fix it, but... doubles the units. Units should be capitalized. I think I uncapitalized it there, but it should be. Units gained, doubles the units gained of the land it is placed on. Is that a bad way to word that? Doubles the units gained of the land it is placed on. It sounds a little bit weird, but that's just like the... Is gained not capitalized? It's not. But units is, yeah. You shouldn't tweak little things so much after a big change on the card. Agreed. The land this structure is placed on gains double units. Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, I feel like I'm doing this backwards. I'm just gonna copy what you say. If I can copy it, it won't let me. There we go. Nope. Nope. Wrong thing. Okay, he's just not copying it. The land this structure is placed on gains double the units? Double units? Or double the units, I would say. Did I spell structure right? STRUCT. Yep, okay. I'm gonna have to give you like an editor credit or something, Maximus. Yeah, I guess Village is just very much the unit gaining card, because it gains 5 units if it dies, and then it also gains 1 unit just innately. So I have the feeling some of those passes might need to go, but for now, I like the doubling. I just think it's a cooler, more simplistic thing. All right, so we did. Village. All right, we're getting a lot done. Only half an hour in. We got a bunch of stuff accomplished, so good so far. Okay, Spell Shield has had bad wording for a while now. And we just haven't fixed it. By the way, do you reshuffle the deck if the player finishes, player finishes the deck, or has that never happened before? It has never happened before. However, I would say yes. I think that's what I've planned on if it ever got to that point. That probably should be in the rules. That's probably a rule clarity thing I should put in here. All right, I just need, what am I doing? Why don't I just have this as a tab? Rules clarity. Because it could be technically like a lose condition, but I feel like that's just kind of lame. I mean, maybe not, though. Actually, that is a really good point. Yeah, if a player finishes the deck, they cannot draw any more cards until the end of the game. I mean, that would make it so, like, if you run out of cards, there's just going to be an end. Because at that point, if you're running out of cards, then... you know, I don't know how... how the game isn't over yet. Like, the game's going to last forever if you have run out of cards. I mean, it plays well to the entropy thing, right? Like, once you're out of cards, you're just gonna die. Along with the monster, honestly. Like, once it runs out of cards, like, then you can finally overtake them and win. Although they have infinite minions in theory, but because minions are just put back in the pile and redrawn. But if you're running out of cards, you've made mistakes of some sort. Yeah, or you're somehow hanging on, because at that point you should be either dead or, yeah, you've either that or you've made some mistakes. Okay. Mage's Shield. It's broken currently. Currently it's choose a card. This card cannot lose units for the rest of the turn. First of all, the whole turn thing is confusing, and I really need to get that sorted out. But the other problem is, say you're like, you know, being attacked by, you're the strongest card, and there's 5 cards out there that attack the strongest card. Does that mean you tank all 5 attacks because they would always attack you, or do they decide to prioritize someone else and attack something else? So I think really what this should say is something along the lines of like 1 instance of damage. Because I don't want to just, like, I could say 1 attack, but I also want it to be defending as well. Or I guess if you say prevent the damage from 1 attack, but that gets muddy, because you're like, well, is it defending or attacking? What if Mage's Shield lets you choose another card that gets the damage redirected to? That's kind of cool. But I would say arguably, trying to think what I think of that. I did have an idea for a card, like a structure. And we've been talking about like using resource costs. I thought it could be cool to have like a structure that allows you to like maybe spend units, like sacrifice units to change enemy attack order, or like change an enemy's attack order. But that's like when I start adding new cards. But I thought that would be really cool, which kind of feels along that line. I think the problem with making it redirect damage makes it weaker than the other cards. I think basically what I want it to do is prevent, like I said, 1 instance of damage. I'm just not sure that's the right wording for it. That could also be something In fact, I'm gonna add that as a card idea. Like redirects, card that redirects damage. Damage. That'll be I think a later card idea. I think I like Mage's Shield where it's at, like for what it is. But I do like that idea. I was thinking having like, you know, like heroes that taunt or something and don't attack, or interesting stuff like that too, but... Whoa, wait. Actually, wait, is that a good idea for Paladin? You make it so he can attack, but he just like generates a bunch of units, so he's just like literally a tank. Is that cool? Because once units are on a hero, they can't be moved from other heroes or to or back, right? It can't go back to structures or to other structure, or sorry, to structures or lands, and they have to stay on the hero and can't go back or forth unless you play another card. So that could actually be a really cool idea for Paladin, where you just make him a tank because they can't attack. And then you just like give them a bunch of unit gain innately. I actually think that's a really cool idea. In fact, I'm gonna do it because right now Paladin just feels boring. I don't know how much unit gain is good though. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna say 4, so they gain 4 units per turn, and then I'm gonna say they can't attack. No. Oh, it's just supposed to be blank. Paladin generates units, and you can sacrifice units to force a unit to attack the Paladin. Ooh, like a taunt. I'm trying to think that through. Because this is already just having them generate units and not making them attack does give them an identity, because at least they're all the strongest things are like attack strongest should at least attack the Paladin. I'm just trying to think, how do we have, I think the only other thing that has a resource cost is, excuse me, it's Mage's Tower. How many units do you think you should sacrifice? You could reserve the taunt for another card too. Honestly, I think I'm gonna make a note of it. Paladin. Give them a taunt. I'm going to start without giving them a taunt, and then I will give them a taunt if it feels lame. Because right now I just made them the card with the most unit generation of any card in the game, at least innately. And so I want to see how that feels. But I think if that doesn't feel good, I definitely will give them a taunt. But I was like really worried, like I was thinking about giving them higher unit gen just in general, because they were the only really, I mean, they had a pretty high unit generation before, but the thing is, I was worried that you're going to be able to like put a Paladin down and then, you know, turn 1 or turn 2 win. But if they can't attack, And that just makes him a blocker. I think that's kind of cool. Because they're like the first tank card. I definitely think the taunt's a good idea, but I think I'm gonna hold off just to see what it feels like. In fact, instead of even putting this in new cards, I already have a thing for like the next patch, which has like, you know, negative death effects, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna put that in to give them a taunt next time around. Yeah, Paladin's cool as is too. I think that's a good idea though. I just want to see how it feels. I still need to figure out Cleric, but might even just be buffing them to make them feel better. But because I like the idea that they give units to other cards, but it's like the idea is they're healing things, right? But I don't know. All right, what else were we doing? Okay, that's Paladin, which I didn't think I was gonna get to, but oh wait, we never did Mage's Shield. Choose a card. That card that card cannot lose units for one attack. Does that get confusing whether it is a for them attacking or being attacked? Or does it feel general enough that it could be both? I'm just gonna say for one instance of damage. It might not be the clearest thing, but I think it makes sense. Feels general enough for both, but it could be cool because of that too. Yeah. Leroy Jenkins? It's just Leroy. I'm waiting for it. I'm just gonna wait for the second part. Is this because we're talking about paladins? Jenkins. Although you said more like Jenkins. There we go. Leroy Jenkins. Is that how that reads? Okay. Teleport. I need to say moves. It needs to say up to. I had to put a limit on it because it was just breaking the game, but it still breaks the game. But it's okay. I need much more enthusiasm from him. From me or from Maximus? Move up to 3 cards when players from control units are moved with the card. Because that was removed for some reason, but teleport was super OP, now it's just OP. Exactly, yeah. Maximus, okay, yeah. Well, you know, here we are. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, 3 cards is still a lot, but yeah, you could just end the game. I mean, it's been a game ender lately, although before it was very underpowered. So I think it's in a better spot now, thankfully. But yeah, it's definitely something I'd use to end the game with. All right, teleport's fixed. I keep going to the wrong thing. Teleport. That feels more like one of these notes, but honestly, I probably should get to the old god, but I think I'm procrastinating. Spell shield, still bad wording. Yeah, we fixed that. Trading post is too powerful. So I was thinking about making it a... Yeah. Man. Problem with trading post is that it really needs to be a unit effect, but then that breaks bridge again. So that might be something I just think about and not do. Units on this card may be moved to any other card of your choice under a player's control at any time, regardless of game phase. So the cool part with it having a unit effect is that once it dropped below a threshold, you couldn't use it anymore. It's a cool thing, but with no unit effect, it definitely breaks the game. I suppose it could have a unit cost. Bridge is the bane of all life, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking that. What if you move units from trading posts, you sacrifice X units? I almost wonder if it would be cool if... And we had something similar to this last time, is where it was... You know, units on this card may be moved from any card of the player's choice during unit phase. But then during, like, sacrificing units may make it at any time. That just makes it so complex again. How do triggered effects work? Yeah, doing that is super complex and wordy. Yeah. I almost think we might need yet another title of type of effect, like a like an ability, you know, to something that you have to like spend. It could be something I consider. as just having, yeah, like a third. So you have your triggered effects. Certain thing happens when X occurs. Unit effect, you need this number of units for the effect to occur. And then maybe an ability, you specifically do this at a certain time, probably has some sort of cost. The non-bridge unit effect. No, I'm thinking like an ability, right? Like sacrifice 5 units to do this, because then it doesn't all need to be on one section, right? Ability could work well, yeah. I think that may be out of the scope of what I want to do right now. So I might just put that on our next patch notes and move on from Trading Post and leave it as is. Because I don't really... But isn't the ability going to cause a problem for the card layout? Not necessarily. So like... it just means an ability couldn't be on a card with a triggered effect and a unit effect. So we look at Trading Post. Trading Post, like, wasn't there already a few problems when you guys were separating triggered effects and unit effects with card layouts? No, so like, yeah, I mean the unit effect, so that's unit effect and that's activated effect, or triggered effect, sorry, still using the old words. And that's working fine. It would just, you know, be yet another color in that section. I think the problem we were having is that there are some unit effects that don't work well with structures. Like this one, like archers, because if you have 10 or more units on it, you may attack 2 targets, but only take damage for the highest power level target. So that only works on this hero. But you can't have bridge giving every hero this passive. That just breaks the game completely. So, that's the problem. So bridge just had to say structures only, essentially, which is kind of annoying because I still think I need to find a better way to do it, because I want it to make it so I don't have to design everything around bridge. So I don't think bridge is in its final form yet, but yeah, I think I don't think there was an issue with unit effects specifically. I think abilities could maybe, I think it could work. Bridge will continually be a problem if the game is in development, because bridge is too reliant on other cards for a balance. Yeah. For sure. I mean, I'm okay with the game kind of like not being 100% balanced. Like, I mean, yeah, you don't want to have like the game be like, oh, you have to have a bridge to win, but sometimes the game getting out of balance because it's a co-op game, if it feels good to have those interactions, then I'm okay with that. If it makes the game too easy, that's kind of sucks. But inherently, I don't mind if this sort of plays like a roguelike, where you get to a point where you're essentially a god and you just destroy everything. I'm okay with that because it's not going to be every single game that you get all the combos, right? Anytime any other unit effects is changed, you need to consider bridge if it's going to be balanced. Yeah, I mean, the problem right now, it's not even that. It's that I can't make certain unit effects with bridge existing. Like, the problem is some unit effects only apply to a specific card. Like Cleric, right? You take Cleric, for example. I'll just pull it up here because it looks nicer. Let's see the pop-out card thing. That's not it. So you take Cleric, for example. Cleric has, you know, they gain they place 2 units on another card. So they essentially give 2 units to another card every turn. Their unit effect is that they increase the number of units that they place. But that doesn't work with bridge because bridge doesn't have anywhere to place those units, right? So that's my real problem with bridge, but let's see, hon. What do you say? But cards like bridge are really sensitive to terms of balance where they either super powerful or either weak or mediocre. It's really hard to get those types of cards to be healthy state. And this isn't even considering that bridge just completely breaks some of the unit effects. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, bridge is definitely in a weird spot. It's always probably has always been. But I think it's one of those cards that makes the game interesting. So yeah, it's something I'm gonna have to keep considering. Obviously, worst case scenario, remove it. But I do like the interaction between players because I think that's like the spirit of the game. So it's definitely not something I'm gonna like remove or anything without really big consideration. But bridge is interesting for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's honestly just a matter of wording it right, I think. I mean, my friend did have a good idea. I don't think it fixes anything necessarily, but one of the things he was saying is like, because you have 2 different play spaces, you could potentially put bridge in between. What does do? Bridge. You could have it so like the bridge placed between the 2 play spaces. I don't know if there's any way to use that sort of mechanic to fix it, but your activated unit effects, those also apply to your allies. Yeah, because like having to build structures around this, I mean, but the thing is like, what if we leave unit effects to like, unit effects are something that affect the entire game, right? Or like, yeah, I guess it affect the, you know, your entire play space. That's kind of currently how it is. With the exception of the heroes that don't, right? What if we do that and then you make it so that there's abilities where, you know, something like Archer, you make this ability like spend up to 10 units, or not up to, spend 10 or more units to attack twice, but like you just reword it in a sense where anything that is applying to a singular card is a ability, or anything that applies to the entire game state, like, you know, Mage, right? He draws an extra card per turn. That I don't see why it couldn't work with Bridge, but currently it doesn't, you know? What would happen if both players play a Bridge? Does every unit effect trigger 3 times total? I don't think so, because I think the Bridge would only trigger... Keep closing up accent. The Bridge would only trigger If your structure you control has an activated unit effect, those effects also apply to allies. Yeah, because so it just takes the unit effects from your allies and they apply to you. Or to the other way around. Your effects apply to your allies. Bridge is like a one-way street. Middle play space causes issues because... Okay, so we're talking about the... Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's true. It would have to be worded differently. It'd have to be like, you share... whatever with this player. Like activated unit effect. Well, I mean, does that fix it? No, because its unit effects are still broken. I think, honestly, we're gonna need abilities. The more I think about it, the more I like the idea. But again, I think that's outside of the scope of this particular update. Because I have a lot of other stuff I need to get done. So I think I'm going to put this in here. Make abilities effect slot. Abilities are a great idea in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. I think that fixes the rest of the problems with Bridge. Because, yeah, you just make... I mean, that would be perfect for the taunt situation we were talking about, too, right? Because you just give them a taunt ability. And then, yeah, Cleric could have a, you know, heal ability or whatever. Elvish Archer could have, like, a double shot ability. And I mean, costing units for an attack just ends up making it the same as normally attacking, but just a better version of it. I think abilities are the way to go. I'm gonna have to make these shaped different too. I can imagine that being a problem with colorblind, whatever. Also just nice to notice them at a glance, but abilities also give you more things to mess around with and make when making new cards. Agreed. And yeah, that fixes Bridge too, because then all unit effects are just kind of a thing, and then Bridge is fixed. Yay! Huzzah! Okay, so that's next update. I haven't thought about it enough to like implement it right now, but and I've got a bunch of other stuff. So we're gonna ignore trading posts. We're gonna push to next update too. Make, oh yeah. Yeah, I think abilities would be cool. I really need to, I've been messing around in the Discord, and I got a new bot called Win. Oh, it doesn't pop up, but, maybe it does. Does it pop up? Yeah, it does. And it lets you, select dates that people are available. So I think I might be able to, I think I'm going to start doing, I probably should, I honestly meant to do that today. Maybe I'll do it after stream or maybe tomorrow. So it lets me set time or like days. It doesn't let me set times, unfortunately. They say they're working on that, so that's something that should be added to the thing. But the idea is I can put up a bunch of times that I'm available, and then other people can say when they're available, and then we can just schedule a playtest that way rather than, you know, rather than having to like schedule a specific time for playtesting, because it doesn't really make sense with it being a co-op game. I don't need like 12 people. Not that I'm gonna get 12 people because my server's still small, but you know, I won't get like 12 people signing up for the same slot. So I think that's kind of cool. Anyway, moving on. So I had this idea, and I'm not sure it's a good idea. God of Harvest. Do we think it would be a cool idea to allow them to play another land at the cost of another type of card? Because currently you can play a hero, a structure, and a land. Would it be cool during a turn if they could sacrifice either playing a hero or a structure, or even both, to play an additional land? I think that would be kind of cool, because right now, surprisingly, I feel like they seem like the weakest god. Because they don't have anything to facilitate them being able to do more with land. God of Harvest can play lands instead of any other card. Exactly, yeah. Do we think that's cool? Like, so they could, I mean, so they like play like two lands at the cost of, you know, playing a hero and structure. Got this like gnarly bug bite on the back of my freaking leg when I was mowing the lawn. That's cool in my opinion. Okay. If Maximus likes it, then I like it. Okay, I'm trying to think of the best way to word that. God of Harvest. You may play... I'm just gonna write it out and then probably change it. You may play an additional land. Should I say, like, you may play an additional land if you have played no heroes or structures? I think that's probably the best way to word it. Maybe? You can play an additional land if you have played no heroes or structures. Trying to decide if that's the nicest way to put it. You may play land cards instead of other types of cards on your turn. You may, yeah, it's remove the on your turn, yeah. You may play land cards instead of other card types. You may play... Oh, you just repeated yourself. I can't. I'm like, why is my brain breaking? But yeah, no, I understood what you meant. You may play land cards instead of other card types. Or you may play additional land cards instead of other card types. Does that make it clearer, or is that just a extra word? So that means you can play like 3 lands in a turn. versus mine would be like you could play 2 lands. I think that's probably better, that you may play additional lands instead of other card types. Additional feels clear, but logically should be extra. Yeah, that's kind of how I was feeling about it. I'm like, it doesn't sound like it should matter, but somehow it makes it sound better. You play additional lands instead. Would it make it even more clear if I say you may play additional lands instead of heroes and structures? Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah, again. Yeah, it's kind of how I feel. It's like, it feels clear. I'm gonna say it for now. I'm gonna err on the side of overly clear. Then whatever. I think the biggest thing is it's like one of those things where it's like we don't have an instance of actually saying like you may, well, actually we do. Farm actually says it, right? Farm, if this structure has units on it, you may play 1 additional card of any type per turn. So it does use the term card type. I'm just gonna keep it with saying structures and is that thunder or a plane? I think it's a plane. If you made it, you may play lands instead of other cards. It would make total sense, but you would get people wanting confirmation if they understood other cards effect correctly. Yeah, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. Or not as is, but the heroes and structures. You may play additional lands instead of heroes or structures. There we go. That's kind of a cool thing. We're almost done with humans, I think. By humans, I mean players. The humans. Don't have anything for cleric yet. That might just push to later. One thing I want is clarification of barbarian, god of war, and fort. Right now, it's again one of those clarity things. So right now when barbarian attacks, it's not clear when they gain units. So when attacking with this hero, gain 3 units. It doesn't say, because it's when attacking, so it's like the act of attacking. Does that mean you gain the 3 units before or after? I'm trying to decide what I want. After obviously would be a nerf. But I think the way I've done it is always before. I'm trying to think the best way to word that. God, it's literally like just like making abilities is all just like grammar and like just figuring out how to phrase things. Because I can say before attacking with this hero. You did do it before the attack. Yeah, yeah, I have done it that way, but it's just worded in a way that can be misconstrued, right? Yeah. No, yeah. For sure. Yeah, no, I definitely do it before. But it's just not worded that way. So it's like when attacking with this hero, gain 3 units. I think to just a brand new player, they might misconstrue that. And in fact, that's kind of what happened when I was playing with my friend. He was kind of like, wait, is that before or after? So when attacking with this hero, actually, you don't want to do it before exactly, I think. Yeah, because if it's saying before means also gets weird. I think just I don't think a player never attacked. I don't think a player ever attacked a power level 10 with 9 units and survived with 2 units. Yeah. I mean, I think I want... I'm trying to think what I want, you know? Yeah, I think it's probably better for game balance if it's after. It's also easier to word. You say after attacking, this hero gains 3 units. Rather than before attacking. I mean, Barbarian's definitely too powerful right now. Maybe make it after the attack, but in the rules, make it so that unit effects all trigger before the card dies. I'm trying to think. So Barbarian cannot kill a power level monster above its level, but can kill a power same without dying. Yeah. Yeah, before makes it less complicated as far as like what happens to your card, right? Yeah, because yeah, a situation could go you attack an endling with one a power level 1, you have 1 unit. In theory, you should die from that, but then it triggers after. See, I feel like that just makes it more confusing if it's after. Because then I don't want like you to have to refer to the rules in order to know how the Barbarian works, you know? I think it's probably better for game balance if it's after. After is more confusing, but before is stronger. Honestly, I think I'm gonna go with before for now, because that's what I've been doing. But that's something to consider too. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it before for now. Honestly, that's the one thing I'm actually excited about for deck building is I feel like well, there's only 2 barbarians in the deck, so it's balanced in a way, in that way. It also leans into the roguelike aspect you talk about. Yeah, I feel like if we end up doing like deck building, I think one of the things that's interesting that could come from that is that you get to see what the powerful cards are because people would pick those in a composition. So I think that's kind of interesting. And you can see what's broken because people will pick it more. Fortress also needs it. Units before. I don't think the game is really ready for deck building. I don't either. Because imagine a deck with 6 Mages Towers. Yeah. Well, yeah, but you still have to get them to a certain point. You still have to have the units to do it. I mean, maybe Mage's Tower needs, you know, a nerf in that sense, but... And also, I mean, if it does have deck building, I think if it has deck building, it's going to have more cards, right? And it's going to have to be like Magic the Gathering's Commander, where you have to have... or like, I guess a lot of other deck builders, where you can't have too many repeats of individual cards. Like, you know, in this case, you can only have 2 of each hero or whatever. Because imagine we had, like, you know, and maybe that number's somewhat larger, but yeah, I think you wouldn't be able to have, like, infinite copies of a singular card. Yeah, I mean, there's some semblance in deck building, but deck building will ruin how the game is currently balanced towards cards being rare. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I think that will, like, end up being, like, 2 separate things. I'll have, like, a, you know, I mean, it'll have to have more cards before we can even deck build anyway, because there's definitely too few cards right now to even consider deck building, but... This is actually worded wrong. Oh wait, no it isn't. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think right now it's definitely around the sort of randomness of cards, whereas you know, deck building, you can change the balance based on the deck. What if you made card packs to choose from? Like, you have groups of cards separate, you pick 4 groups to make a deck. That could be kind of cool. So I can have varied numbers of structures, repeat cards, etc., but you can't guarantee the player can just put whatever card they want into their deck. Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I kind of want to just, like, at some point, just, like, make some catered decks based on, sorry, I just had a random idea mid-sentence. You mentioned having, like, when you run out of cards, you die. But it'd be interesting if you started with the full deck, and then you could cater the deck however you want. But if you run it, but you have to remove cards from that deck. So, like, you'd start with all, you know, all these cards in your deck. But and when you run out of cards, you lose, right? So you could cut out as many cards as you want, but you don't get that into your pool of cards. And so when you run out of cards, you lose. Not lose, but you can't draw any more cards. So you could increase your luck for the sake of like health, quote unquote. I feel like that could be kind of cool, if that makes any sense. So your deck can have a varied number of... You could integrate that into card packs as well. Yeah, for sure. Your deck can have a varied number of structures, repeat cards, but you can only guarantee a player can just put whatever cards. Yeah, okay, I already read that. I'm gonna write that down somewhere. Is that the right one? Yeah. Okay. That's just an idea. That's an experimental thing for later. For example, some packs could have really powerful cards, but powerful card packs has 4 cards, while packs with 20 cards are 20 cards, but it's weaker. Yeah, that could be kind of cool. I could see that. Honestly, I feel like this game, like, at some point I really do want to make this game like a digital version, and I think it would be cool to have it like, something like Slay the Spire or Inscription or something like that, where you kind of have that roguelike element where like you add cards as you go throughout like different battles as you move up. I also feel like the old gods need different decks for variance and better difficulty setting. Yeah, 100%. I agree. All right, fix this. Magic Missile and Cleric are the only 2 things I have left. And I'm not 100% convinced on Magic Missile yet. Until I really look at the... until I look at everything else. Apparently roguelike deck builders are in demand on Steam. Interesting. Also, making the game digital fixes the issues of players missing lots of card effects while playing. Yeah, exactly. Of course that, means I have to learn to code, but I'm up for the challenge. Let's do this. I think it's because of that. Nope. Do that. No. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna move Cleric and Magic Missile nerf to the next patch as well. Because Magic Missile currently kills a power level 5 instead of a 3. But I think I'm gonna leave it until I know what the death effects are like on the evil gods. Make a game fully digital also lets you make some cards that would normally be torture to keep track of or calculate. Yeah, I agree. I kind of like to be able to keep it with both. Like, make sure that I can have a printable version and a digital version, but maybe eventually that just becomes a, it kind of depends on really, in the end, what's more profitable, right? Okay. What time we got? Oh, only an hour and a half. Okay. First off, let's tackle something again annoying. Abyssal Horde again is still broken. The bane of the monster deck. It's Abyssal Horde is the bridge of the monster deck. Although I think the way to do this, so currently it's when a monster attacks, they play a minion card and all minions attack the same card as the Abyssal Horde. Problem is we don't have rule clarity on how attack order actually is, and that definitely has to be something in the book. Now we could make it so that the Abyssal Horde just attacks first, always, because then the minions would attack in succession. But right now, I try to make sure that everything's played in order, and then whatever. And I think honestly, it's just weird that they have two passives like this. I think Abyssal Horde probably should just be creating minions, and then have a separate card that controls minions. And I think you mentioned this last time, like an Abyssal Taskmaster, which I think is, you know, if a target dies, the minions continue attacking as if the same target as the Abyssal Horde. But here's the thing, after the target dies, if the target dies, minions continue attacking as if targeting the same as the Abyssal Horde. Well, right now the thing is they have the same attack order anyway, right? So I think right now, I think it says go back to their original attack order. But including that with the text that's already here of minions attack the same target as the Abyssal Horde, I kind of just think I want to separate it into two separate cards. Because the idea of the Abyssal Horde is they keep gaining, you know, power. They ramp up. Whereas I think I want a separate card that has they attack in the same order. But yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying though, for sure. And honestly, I think it might almost be time for me to start adding more monsters. And I do have one I am going to add. It'll be the first card edition in forever, but I think to start, I'm gonna go like this. I'm just gonna say this monster attacks a minion. When this monster attacks, play a minion. Because honestly, them attacking the same thing hasn't really been that crucial. But just too many things on one card. I'd rather have two separate cards. It's more interesting that way anyway. Especially because like the Abyssal Horde has mostly just been killing cards before the minions can even attack it. Like it attacks for 3 and then, you know, all the minions die. I think it'd be cool to have like the, you know, the one that controls minions be just like a 1 or something like that. So I'm gonna put this into new cards. Never spell it. Horde has an E. Abyssal has 2 S's. It's literally right there. But I think I am getting close to adding more cards just in general. Because I just want it to be more interesting. I was thinking about making Ravager more interesting. Because right now they're just a 5 that attack strongest heroes, structures, then lands. I mean, it is interesting that they're just like a powerful card, but they're kind of boring. If you're making a card that changes minions targeting, it would be cool and sadistic to give it like weakest lands first. Yeah, because it'd be cool. Yeah, I agree. I mean, honestly, it almost should be like the card should have a different attack order. Well, maybe not necessarily attack order. Well, yeah, because right now, like, the Abyssal Horde's attacking strongest. And yeah, it kind of changes things because normally the Abyssal Horde attacks a target, and even if the target goes below the strongest, then all the minions still attack it. So it still makes sense that it's still attacking strongest because it's attacking the same target no matter how low it goes. But yeah, you could even have it so it's like attacks weakest, and so it, well, I guess it wouldn't even attack the same target. It would just, they would just be dead. Because there is technically a card that changes what is it? Shadow's Den. Monsters and minions that would attack strongest now attack weakest. Yeah, Abyssal Horde doesn't really change all that much. Yeah, it's very situational that it does. But yeah, Abyssal Horde literally does that. It makes, you know, minions or anything attack weakest, which is, or not Abyssal Horde, Shadow's Den. Now, the card I want to add, this is probably the craziest change you will see in a while. I guess 2 of them. The idea of this card is they're weak. They are a 1 power level, but they attack, I don't know if it's strongest or weakest, but they attack lands first, and then I think structures, and then heroes. We don't currently have a card that attacks lands first. And I think this would be a huge buff to the monsters because it forces players to put units on their lands and not just leave them empty. Yeah, maybe it's just like put 1 unit on land. But even that, I think, can change a lot, right? This is a sadistic move. Yeah, it attacks weakest lands first. Yeah, exactly. Well, you said lands there, but yeah. And I don't know if I want this to be. So you're basically getting what I'm getting at. It's not going to be a minion. Lands attacker is huge, especially the monsters played attacks, or attacks when played. Yeah. I'm trying to decide if I want weakest or strongest. I think weakest is probably more interesting. It should be weakest lands so that it always tries to kill a land. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's a land assassin. All right, so I had 2 ideas. We'll use, you know, your typical void, or like my typical naming convention, like void, nether, chaos, abyssal, whatever. And the 2 names I had were either might, like the little creatures, or locust. So like a void locust or a void might. I guess the might kind of is Minecraft seeping into my brain. Because I was originally like, oh yeah, like an ender might. I'm like, that's a thing. That's already a thing. So yeah, like a void locust, nether locust, Chaos Locust, don't like that as much. Or maybe like a Chaos Might, Nether Might. Nether Might just still sounds like I'm ripping off Minecraft, but if you want to name, what about Arsonist? Am I reading that right? Am I dumb? Yeah, that's right. Abyssal Arsonist. That's kind of cool. I'm trying to think. That is cool. Is this broken? Oh yeah, it just needs to... Arson is an entropic crime. Yeah. Chaos crimes. Okay, that will need a thing. Trying to decide what I want. I guess it doesn't really have any base effect. It's just... I'm trying to think of like the design too, I guess is the thing. I'm trying to think of what I would want it to look like. Because I can see something when I'm thinking of like locust. I guess locusts just look like grasshoppers, right? Sorry if anyone doesn't like bugs. Like I could picture an enemy like that, or a mite. Is it M-I-T-E creature? Yeah. Like a little creepy guy. That's the only reason I'm thinking those, because I feel like that could be like a cool little creature, just like eating land. Mite doesn't make as much sense as a locust, because, you know, locusts just destroy like fields and stuff. That is absolutely terrifying. Anyway. Here we are. Trying to decide what I want. Void Stone, I do like the Abyssal Arsonist, though. I'm just trying to decide what I would think it would look like, you know? I'm between that. I'm between that and Void Locust. Or slash, what do you say, Abyssal Arsonist? It's both currently. What else? There we go. I wouldn't have a base effect, so we'll think about that. Give it a think. In between one of those two. Same idea for a base effect. If this card kills the card it attacks again. Oh god, no. No, that's way too powerful. That's just a game ender is what that is. You just may as well rename it World Ender and then call it a day. That might be a cooler Ravager effect. But then again, like, it being a 5 is insane. I could see potentially, though, making a Ravager, like, a singular copy and then having that effect. But I don't think it can be, like, a... But then a Ravager, I think, can't be a power level 5. You know? I think I just decided I'm gonna change Barrage Magic Missile to 4 for now. That is a really cool idea. I was also thinking of just like potentially giving Ravager like, or like a card, attack strongest and then attacks weakest. Because Ravager feels like it doesn't have an identity right now. I think it'd probably be like a better if the card kills and attacks again, that'd be a better thing for a Shade, honestly. Like, cause Shade's basically an assassin card. I don't think I'm gonna mess with it too much, though, because I think just this one monster changes the entire, like, I think just leaving, I think just this this little guy is gonna throw the game for a loop. So what if the Ravager kills a card? What if the Ravager kills a card it has X or less units after that attack? Ravager kills a card. I think I see what you're saying. Are you saying like it has overflow damage essentially? So like if it kills a card that has 3 units, it still attack, like, so attacks for 5. And if it kills a card with 3, it can attack again for 2. Like if Ravager attacks a card with 8, it has 3 units left. Card. Oh, okay. So like an instant death. I kind of that's kind of cool. I think I kind of like the idea that I just said though, where it's like it's a overflow damage. So like, I don't know how to word that though. So like if the Ravager attacks a card that has 3 units, it kills that card, it can attack again for 2, right? Because the Ravager has a 5 attack power. Overflow is cool too, but not gonna come up on the strongest. Yeah. I mean, it could attack weakest first and then attack strongest for the overflow. That could be kind of cool. It's also really scary. I also was thinking just a card could also just attack twice. Would just be a good effect for a card. But, well, I guess there's already a spell for that, so it's not really necessary. But yeah, you're right. It's not gonna come up. It's not gonna come up. I think I'm gonna leave it for now. Honestly, I think we just need to test out this little guy probably. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I guess that's what Rift Spawner does. It attacks weakest for 7. Was I even playing that right last time? Yeah, I mean, it just kills weakest cards. Yeah, Rift Spawner is probably a little too powerful, but the old god is just kind of weak right now, so... Attack power with attacking weakest enemies basically forces the player to either leave some heroes on for a chance or have 6 units on hero minimum. Yeah. I could reduce it to like 4. But because like most players are going to be leaving, like if they have an activated effect, they, you know, leave a certain number of units on there for that reason, but I don't know, gonna think about that. I thought there was only one Rift Spawner, but apparently not. I think that may have been the case. I rebalanced everything. I cut down on all the cards. There's only one World Ender, but yeah, there's two Rift Spawners. Honestly, I shouldn't really be too worried about the old god being too powerful, because they're clearly too weak currently. Although me and my friend did have a game where a World Ender spawned, and then we got a, what is it called? World Ender spawn, killed our cards, and then, what is it? An Abyssal Domain, wait, no. What is it? Why I forget what it's called. A Void Rift spawn, which allows them to bring back, or allows them to draw from, or the old god draws from their discard pile instead, so it just drew it right back, just started killing our cards again. And we just got completely destroyed. It was pretty funny. Let's see here. It was a bad time. Let's see. I did want to, as much as I, okay, Null Sanctum's good. Ooh, wait, what happens if a land with a structure dies? Ugh. That is a really good question. Because in theory, the structure should also die. Oh, man. I mean, I could just put that as a base effect for now. It cannot attack lands with structures on them. That's a good call, though. Does the structure explode? What if there are empty lands, or do you just flip the table? Yeah, I don't know. I think I have to just put I mean, there's not going to be many monsters, I think, that attack. You know, I had been thinking, like, potentially changing it this is another way to change the whole unit effect thing, is allow structures to be placed without land, but then allowing lands, rather than having unit effects, have like a land attached effect. And so instead of, you know, if it's on a land, it gains a power rather than having to have a certain number of units on it. But I feel like that's just like too weak. Like you, not weak, but like it kind of just removes the point of like you know, allocating units, because that's like the whole point of this game. So I think you're right though, that definitely needs something. Units or tax lands, tax lands without only tax lands without structures. Otherwise attacks structures. I feel like saying otherwise attack structures is another thing that is clear, but people are going to ask if you don't put it there. Yeah, exactly. That is 100% what that is. I'm gonna still think about Ravager here. I'm probably not gonna get quite everything done here. But we'll see. I really should probably work on the death effects, but that may not even get to that. Sort of thing, if Nethermuck is destroyed, can it still attack on its turn? I feel like that's just... Is that something I need, like, clarification for? Nethermuck. If this card is destroyed for the first time, it returns to play, but now has a power level of 2. I don't think there's anything saying it wouldn't, you know? Because a card placed... Because, like, we've had a few times where someone used, like, Magic Missile or Banish from Existence on another muck, but it just comes back. And it still gets to attack for 2, but I think that's just kind of its thing. So I think that's just a worthless note. I'm just gonna ignore it. Okay, so Abyssal Domain and Chaos Gate. So they technically remove units off of cards. Chaos Gate. At the end of the turn, remove 2 units off all structures controlled by the players. Now the thing is, I don't think I want... If it wasn't going to attack this turn, then it should make a return to... Hey, what are you doing? My cat's on top of my fridge. Luna's just being a menace. Nah, I think that doesn't really matter. I think honestly it should attack anyway, but I think it's fine as is. But yeah, okay. So Chaos Gate, end of the old god's turn. Remove 2 units from all structures controlled by the players. So I think I don't want structures that like are removing units from cards to kill. And I know that's a nerf, but I feel like it's weird. It's just like, it may as well just be an attack, right? If it's just removing units and it I just feel like that's just too weird. And I think the intent was that it doesn't kill, it just removes units. Because I think we have a spell that's similar. And I mean, maybe I can make the effect more powerful to unnerf it a bit, but I think cannot drop below 1. This actually should just say unit. Yeah, I think you are right about it returning to a hand, but I think that might just get confusing because it comes back with less health, at least it's supposed to. So I think that would get a little confusing, maybe. So I think that's good. We'll just add just that line of text. Not drop below 1 unit. I think Abyssal Domain removes 3 units off the strongest hero. Because it's the singular strongest hero. I almost feel like it should be like 5. And they can't drop below 1. I think that's cool. It's a structure. It's supposed to be powerful. So just gonna do that. I think I'm starting to lose brain power, but I do want to keep working. Because I'm having fun. Okay. Chaos Gate, Abyssal Domain. Done. There's gonna be some stuff I have to do after the stream anyway, like rules clarification stuff. I'm not just gonna sit and like work on the rule book with you guys. There's some clarification with lands, old god lands, because right now it doesn't clarify that when a land is played that it doesn't immediately draw more cards, which is like one of those things that is like doesn't really have to be clarified, but I think just like on, do we have terminology for the draw phase? Yeah, so it should just say draw phase. Old God plays 3 minions. I think rather than saying on each turn on its draw phase, Old God plays 3 minion cards on its draw phase. I think that's probably better. Why are some of these worded differently? Old God draws an additional card on its draw phase. Rules clarity is the best part, though. Is it? Is it the best part? Is that what you're here for? I mean, I guess that is kind of what we've been doing this whole time. It's just on the cards rather than in the rule book, but sorry, checking the text real quick. I mean, it's definitely not the best part, but it's fine for me. Yeah, fair enough. Sounds like a, yeah, like a thing. Yeah, I'll probably, I'm just not sure I have brain power for it regardless. All right, let's change Nefarious Swap. I think you said something here before. I even have a note. What a spell will let you draw one card from your deck to be played on the next turn, but the players can prepare what's going on. Okay, let's read Nefarious Swap real quick. Nefarious Swap reveals the top card of the Old God's deck, puts a monster or structure with the lowest power level back into the deck and shuffle. It just most of the time does nothing, and power level isn't necessarily indicative of how good the card is. So I'm trying to think of something that's along this flavor, but is actually, you know, good. Because right now it just either does nothing, or it brings like a monster out that's this like worse, or I don't know, it's kind of hard to say. Problem is hard to like choose something that's different than power level, because and like, what if something has the same power level? I guess then it's player choice, but I'm partly tempted just to remove this card completely. It's kind of sad to get rid of card art, but it's not like it's my nicest card art anyway. Trying to debate. Because your idea is cool, but it doesn't necessarily feel like the thematics, like the idea that you said. It doesn't feel thematically the same. What if Nefarious Swap just changes something like Ambush, and the Old God draws 2 cards, and then the higher power level gets removed? Lower. Okay. Yeah, draws. Yeah, because I like Ambush. I think Ambush feels good. I'm almost wondering if it like draws 3 cards and it picks the highest 2. What if Nefarious Swap just changes something like Or yeah, maybe just 2 cards. Kind of like that though. The other idea could maybe be like, ooh, I kind of like that. Or maybe the old god draws 3 cards and the player picks 1 to discard. The other 2 are played. That I like a lot, actually. I like the player choice. That feels cool. I was about to say like maybe it swaps out a minion for a monster, but I feel like that's less interesting because minions are kind of just like merp. Yeah, I really like that. Okay, how exactly do I think I like your I'm just gonna copy it like ambush. Reveal top 3 cards from the old god's deck. Blech. Oh, I keep forgetting surprise ambush lets the players draw an additional card. I kind of don't think I want that anymore because I've never even done it. And the old god needs to be more powerful, but reveal top 3 cards from the old god's deck. Players choose 1 to discard. Play the 2, 3 remaining cards. Should probably make sure to do a spell check here, because, and I'm gonna get rid of each player draws a card. Because surprise ambush can be bad because you reveal anything that's not a monster, it's not actually that bad. It's kind of like a random chance thing. Spelling, spell check. Ignore. Oh yeah, change. Is nefarious spelt wrong? N-E-F. Wait. Oh, it is spelled wrong. Okay, yeah, weird. Change. How long has that been? Yeah, it just has an E instead of an A. Or oh, that's been wrong the entire time. Nefarious. No. Yeah, no, it was N-E-F-E-R-I-O-U-S is how it was spelled. There was 2 E's is how it was. Yeah. So I guess it was wrong. Reveal top 3 cards from the old god's deck. Players choose 1 to discard. Play the remaining 2 cards. Cool, yeah, I like that. That's cool. Okay, let's finally do it. Let's do the thing I've been dreading. Defeated effects. For now, I just want to make it so I want to nerf the defeated effects, but I also want them to at least reflect how good the card is. So like, World Ender lets you destroy a card of your choice controlled by the old god. I think that kind of makes sense, considering how difficult it is. But like something like Forsaken Forest that's drawing 3 minions, I think gaining like 2 land, or 2 units on each land you control isn't bad. Volcano letting you reveal and play a, I also want to make a more, less singular, player focused and more, multiple player focused. So like, instead of Rift Spawner drawing 2 cards, it'd be like each player draws a card. Because that means like that distributes the power for one, because a lot of time you'll have one player getting way farther ahead than the other players, and this will at least balance that, and then it doesn't make the person who's already doing super well doing better. I do think these will eventually, I really do think that there will be negative effects, but I really just want to balance these a little bit better first. Like, Ravager doesn't deserve to have destroy a card controlled by the old god. In fact, that's probably not what it used to be, but it's way too powerful. I think it used to only generate like 2 units, and then we compensated by making it like way better. Destroy a card controlled by the other god. That's just too. Yeah, no, not that. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind a lot of it being more card draw. Ravagers basically sacrifice 5 units to potentially get rid of a 15-unit land or something. Yeah, exactly. It's way too powerful. Honestly, I almost don't even mind having more of it be card draw. There's a lot of death effects that basically are so powerful that the cost to attack the monster is worth it. Yeah, exactly. It should be less worth it than the defeated effect should be, you should get less back. It should be like a rebate, right? Like, you should get less back than you spent to get it. And actually, that brings me to a point where I want to, like, I don't know if I can really graph this out, but I really want to, like, make a power graph of, like, everything's relative power level. Because, like, the weakest power, like, the least powerful thing in the game is units, right? And, like, how powerful that is compared to card draw versus minions versus... you know, attacking, or like, you know, like, I think there needs to be something like that. Like, probably a better thing here would be like destroy 1 minion. He's will destroy, yeah. Minion card, I guess. At some point, X units are worth more than 1 extra card draw, etc., etc. Yeah, exactly. I feel like I need to graph that out and like try to balance it that way. It's a good idea to find out what the average value of an extra card draw really is. Yeah, but it's like, how do you even like determine that? Because I mean, technically a card is worth 1 unit, right? At the very like just on its own, when you place a card, it gains 1 unit, so at least has 1 unit on it. Plus, it can attack, right? Or generate units, so it's technically worth more than that. Plus, the idea that it has like heroes have an action that they can take makes them even higher than a unit, right? So it's like there's a whole mechanic there, but I don't know exactly how to illustrate that, or if that's even like worth trying to like. I mean, it's worth figuring out. I just don't know if that's what I want to be doing right this exact instance. I mean, I guess it would help me balance this, right? Because like, I mean, power level is technically 1-to-1 with units, although it doesn't go down when they attack, so it's technically ever so slightly stronger. Well, it depends on the game situation. If you have a lot of heroes, it could be worth more to take units instead of another hero, etc., etc. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Void Stalker. Destroy a structure controlled by the old god. I feel like that's too powerful, but I feel like destroying cards. Nerf power. Please nerf power level. No. You can't make me. In fact, I'm gonna buff power level. I got a lot of the changes in Bradley that we kind of went over. But yeah, I'm kind of looking at the defeated effects now, because yeah, I think my goal is to nerf the defeated effects and then come back and I think you should just rank each old god card without considering the kill effect and then go from there. Exciting. I could do that. Do you guys want to do a old god card tier list? I think that could be kind of fun. Yeah, there's nothing too crazy on this, but I do want to nerf the old god for sure. Or not nerf the old god, nerf the defeated effects. Yes, says Bradley. All right, let's do it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do it in here, and we're just gonna do it in order. All right. Okay, we're gonna ignore the gods themselves. Endling is obviously our base base 0, right? I guess we don't include spells in this list because they don't have defeated effects, right? So spells don't count. I guess we'll start with monsters though. World Ender, yeah, World Ender is way up there. Well, hi Delmus, hope you're having a nice evening. Yes, Bradley's the guy who helped me playtest the other day, Maximus. Delmus, yeah, whatever. Anyway, Rift Spawner's pretty high up there. It's just gonna, honestly, these are gonna be pretty easy until we start getting to structures and figuring out where they go, right? So we start with Endling, World Ender, and Rift Spawner close to the top. We don't need duplicates. Ravager, I guess below that. Ravager have 5 attack. Okay, Void Stalker is when it gets more interesting because Void Stalker is attacking. Well, it's not evening for me, but it's nice. Hope you're having a nice evening. Yeah, I don't even know where what time zone you're at, Maximus. It could be, you know, a whole nother day by you. All right, guys, what do we think? Do we think a Void Stalker who attacks strongest structures is probably stronger than a Ravager who attacks strongest hero? I would say, because attacking structures is innately more something you're not usually as prepared for. Yeah, okay. So Void Stalker goes above Ravager. Okay. Nethermuck. Nethermuck does come back twice, and it does attack weakest structures. Which, honestly, that almost should be swapped, but it doesn't attack lands, so it can't ever kill lands. I'm gonna probably put that above Ravager too, right? Yeah, I think that goes above. It's actually, Nethermuck's actually a pretty strong card now that I'm thinking about it. I would say it's better than a Void Stalker though, or not a Void. Is Nethermuck stronger than Void Stalker? I mean, it can't kill lands, but Nethermuck would be above Ravager, but is Nethermuck above Void Stalker? Because technically it attacks weakest. I mean, again, it can never finish the game. Nah. Okay. Yeah, it's never really bad to deal with. I always feel like a Void Stalker is scarier, but you could argue that Nethermuck is stronger than Void Stalker. Yeah, I feel like Nethermuck's never really that scary though for some reason. All right, we'll leave it below Void Stalker for now. Chaos Worm. I don't even know if we actually fought any of these, Bradley. Well, Void Stalker is only one power level higher, and attacking weakest structure is potentially higher threat. The Nethermuck also takes more action economy as well. That's true, yeah. Yeah, honestly, it's stronger. I almost want to actually, I think Nethermuck actually maybe should attack strongest instead of weakest. I might want to flip-flop those just for balance. Maybe not. I don't know. I feel like thematically it seems like Nethermuck should be attacking strongest rather than weakest, though. And maybe it'd make... because Void Stalker feels a lot like a Shade, like thematically. That might be something I swap, but we'll Void Stalker should attack weakest, and Nethermuck should attack strongest, I think, maybe. Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna put these back this way, and then I'm gonna change that right now. Because I feel like thematically it's weird. Yeah. Yeah, I like that change. Void Stalker also sounds like it would go for your back ranks and not your strongest hero. I agree. And look, I mean, like, hold on. Where's our Shade? I mean, and look at like the art. Shade attacks weakest, they're like the assassin, and then I think Void Stalker and Shade look very similar. So I feel like thematically they should be, you know. Anyway, we'll come back to that. Chaos Worm. I don't think me and Bradley ran into this at all, but it's a 3 power level, and when it dies, it draws 3 minions. So effectively, I would say it's like a 6 power level. So I honestly think that puts it above Ravager, for sure. I mean, technically, like, it also takes, thank you. This is a sick card. It also takes up 4 actions, so I think that is above Ravager. We're realizing Ravager is kind of a shit card. I think Chaos is higher than Muck, but weaker than Stalker. Yeah, I think that's true. Especially with the new change. So yeah, I agree with that. Okay, Abyssal Horde. Abyssal Horde, we are nerfing to only generate more minions. So I would say they're kind of on par with Ravager, honestly. They take an additional action economy, but are technically, you know, it's a 3 power level, but goes to 4 because it's generating minions every turn. I could even potentially have it generate 2 minions per turn, but I think 1's fine for now. But I think that's kind of gonna be. Abyssal Horde could be a problem if you leave it as is with. But it's Abyssal Horde could be a problem if you leave it, but it's not that tough. You kill fast. Agreed. Yeah, so I would say it's maybe on par with the Ravager. I guess we can do that. It doesn't have to necessarily be always the same. I would go like that. Shade. Yeah, Horde nearly steamrolled us last night. Yeah. But it is different now. I am gonna get rid of the attacks the same target and just have it generate things. And then I think I want to have a separate card have minions attack the same thing, because we kept having that same thing. Shade. I mean, Shade's really pretty powerful because it's just knocking out your heroes, because it does just attacks weakest. But that said, I don't think it's necessarily stronger than Ravager or Horde. I don't know. Or do we think it's kind of on par? I think it's kind of on par in like a different way. It's equally as scary, but in a different way. I think. Oh wait, hold on. Music, wait. Okay, we're okay. This is like almost last song though, so I'm gonna go like that. Jay has a bigger problem later game. Ravager has a bigger problem earlier. I would argue that Shade is more of a problem early game because they can just knock out. Well, I guess they're both problems early game. Because Chinas can. Yeah, I guess Shade is probably weaker, arguably. It's bad early game because it's just like taking out your stuff, but. Or not early game, late game, because it can take out your weak heroes, but we'll put them a little bit weaker. They're scary, but not in the same sense. Okay. Do we want to compare lands to monsters, or do we want to... In late game, the Ravager is just a big card, and it won't be an issue to deal with much in late... Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, do we want to compare lands to monsters, or do we want to just have separate tier lists here? I guess it's probably useful to have, like... I feel like you could compare lands and structures to monsters too. Yeah, I think so too. All right, we've got Forsaken Forest. Old God draws 3 minion cards per turn. I mean, obviously it's stronger than a minion. I'd say it's stronger than a shade. I mean, the problem is, like, most lands, you're gonna prioritize. Although, honestly, I would probably prioritize it over everything but a Rift Spawner. Just think of the way, which way you, Old God, draw Forsaken Forest or another muck. Yeah, that's true. I think that's where I put Forsaken Forest. And probably most lands are going to be in this zone. Well, not necessarily. There are basically no lands weaker than a Chaos Worm. That might not 100% be true. Let's see. Volcano, Old God draws an additional card per turn. I would probably put that before Rift Spawner, but after, because Rift Spawner draws a card per turn and just like killing your stuff. And this just draws a card. It's a little bit higher power level, but we always kill this on the first turn when I was drawing all. Yeah, exactly. Wasteland draws 2 minions cards per turn. It's probably less of a priority than Forsaken Forest, but not below Void Stalker, I would say. Yeah. There's the most Wastelands in the deck now. There's a lot of Wastelands in the deck. Blighted Marsh. Old God draws 1 minion card per turn. Honestly, I would put this... This actually might go below Chaos Worm. Although, Chaos Worm's weird because you sometimes just don't want to kill it because it draws more minions. But arguably, I'd rather draw a Blighted Marsh than a Chaos Worm. I guess if we're putting it that way. So I think this is by far the weakest land. Is it just me, or is your music lagging? I do not know. It shouldn't be. I can't hear myself. I don't think it's what is a priority. I think it's what you prefer the Old God to draw. Yeah. Because if Old God draws a Blighted Marsh, disregard... Blighted Marsh is guaranteed to stay for a while. Yeah. I'd still prefer draw a Blighted Marsh to a Chaos Worm, because Chaos Worm's 3 minions. And this is just 1 minion for a while, like every turn for 3 turns. $15 units is not something you can easily gather in early to mid game, while Forsaken Forest can be killed even in early game. Yeah, I mean that's true, but you don't really need to deal with this because this is just a singular minion, right? But if you attack a Chaos Worm early game, you know, you get 3 minions on the board, and that action economy is really hard to deal with, I would say. But especially if we're ignoring death effects, like, because Abyssal Horde can just kill 4 minions right now, but yeah, me and Bradley left Blighted Marsh for a good number of turns, a lot of the time, so I'm gonna put it there for now, but maybe that's not right. Inferno. Old God draws an additional card per turn. Is that different than Volcano? No, it's just its death effect is different. That might need to change, but There we go. That's going to be the same as Volcano. Abyss. Old God draws 2 additional cards per turn. It's weaker. I would still put that below Rift Spawner, honestly. Although, I don't know. You really gotta kill that. But it has such weaker health. Well, I mean, it only has 2 less units. What do we think? Abyss, is it stronger or weaker than Void Stalker? So you either have 5 that draws 2 additional cards per turn, or Rift Spawner, which draws an additional card per turn, plus it's a 7, plus it's attacking your weakest. I think Rift Spawner's scarier. Yeah, Rift Spawner's scarier. Yeah, for sure. Okay, agreed. Rift Spawner is a bit weird that it attacks weakest, but I'm almost wondering if it should attack strongest, but I think I just put it in there for variety's sake. No, we'll think about that. Okay, so music is lagging. Okay. We're just gonna... Honestly, I have no idea why. Let me just reopen Spotify. Is that better? Oh, wait. Oh, now it's not playing at all. Something is going on with... Okay. How about now? Now I see it, at least. I don't know. Let me know. If not, I'm just gonna turn it off. Fixed. Okay, yeah, I don't know. There's something weird with OBS there. I don't know why it got weird. All right, next. Chaos Keep. I don't think we saw this one last time either. Each player must attack with 1 hero during their turn if possible. So as long as you have a hero, you have to attack. Beautiful. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Honestly, this really isn't that bad. I'd maybe put it with a Blighted Marsh. It kind of sucks. You have to kill like a thing with 10, but most of the time you're gonna attack no matter what. So I feel like that's probably just ends up being like, it's not that scary being forced to attack. I mean, yeah, it's bad like on certain turns. You could just end up killing your own heroes, but I don't think that's that bad. I'll put that there unless anyone has any objections. Null Sanctum. All right, this card doesn't have the right text currently, but I am... What was this one? This is the one if you generate units, you generate 1 less, right? Yeah, this one is probably one of the worst cards. I would say it's on par with Rift Spawner. I feel like it should be changed to each player must attack Chaos Keep with at least one hero if possible. Oh, like specifically the Chaos Keep? I mean, that would make it much worse. Like, much scarier. Each player must attack the Chaos Keep with at least one hero if possible. Because right now it's like you just have to attack in general. That's something for consideration, though. I'll throw it on the list. I'm not going to change it right now, but I will put it on the card fixes. Force. Or not one player. What do you say? One hero. I'm not going to do that right now, but I probably will do that later. Again, I don't want to change too much. Although, I'll put this in the V3 for now. I might come back to that. I just don't have the brain power to decide if I want to do that or not. So we're gonna keep going with our tier list. Okay, yeah, Null Sanctum, it says destroy a card, but that's incorrect. Null Sanctum lowers all unit generation by 1, as long as it's alive. So that is terrifying. I would not want that to show up. I think that's pretty much on par with the Rift Spawner, I think. But yeah, that's a cool idea, Maximus. Sorry, I'm not trying to be dismissive. My brain's just starting to get tired, I think. This is probably almost, we're approaching the longest I've ever streamed again, so. All right, we're doing that. We only got 6 cards left. Abyssal Domain. At the end of the Old God's turn, remove 3 units from the strongest hero. I did just buff this to 5, but this also can't kill targets, so it kind of is annoying, but I'm gonna put it with, I don't know, Voidstalker? Wasteland? No, I'd rather have it. I'd rather have a Wasteland, or rather have a Voidstalker than that. So I'm gonna put it with, I'm gonna put it there. Well, these streams do take brain power. They sure do, yeah. And arguably, my brain just does not work when I'm tired. I'm like so bad at like functioning under like while I'm tired. My brain just gets like very, very dyslexic and can't think. Shadow's Den. Monsters and minions that would attack strongest now attack weakest. Arguably. Yeah, arguably they do take mental power. This one's very scary. I would put this one, I don't know, maybe along the lines of a Inferno. Yeah. Is a Shadow's Den worse than an enemy drawing a card? Yeah, it's not that easy to kill. Honestly, I do think I probably want to buff the power level on some of these cards, but why is the 8 all weird like that? All the other like numbers are kind of okay, but the 8's like weirdly higher than all the other numbers. You think it should be in this column, or do you think it's worse than that? You think it should go in the draw 2 cards column? I don't think it's quite that bad. Maybe it goes here. Maybe it goes between these. Because it's almost as bad as drawing a card, but maybe it's a little bit scarier. Or... Okay, agree with it here. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. Void Rift. Old God draws a card from their discard pile. This single-handedly killed me in Bradley. I would say this is pretty bad. Mostly, like, it doesn't seem like it would be... It doesn't seem like it would be that bad, but... Because it's like, yeah, you know, you don't... Like... How is it that much worse than them drawing cards? But you've specifically targeted... Like, the cards that are dead are ones that you specifically targeted. So, Void Rift... This is basically one card draw, but it's going to have a bit different actual selection from the cards. At least the World Ender can't come back. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, because that's the bad thing, is because it can draw cards that you've already specifically chosen to destroy, and that's why it's scary that it comes back. I'm gonna put it with Forsaken Forest, draw 3 minions. Because it's not bad all the time, but it's situationally bad, and I would probably take care of it before I kill any other cards, because if I'm prioritizing, it might even be higher than that. But like, you know, you have a you have a World Ender and a Void Rift on the field, you're gonna have to take care of the Void Rift, because if you kill the World Ender, it's just coming back next turn, you know? Yeah, so honestly, I think it's actually pretty high now that I'm thinking about it. It might be just as bad as Abyss. Or honestly, the more I think about it, the worse I think it is. Because if you let it live, it's as bad as like, you know, I would say it's there. Yeah, because the more I think about it, the scarier it is. Siege Engine, minions and monsters that would attack heroes now attack structures first. It's situationally really bad. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I think it's like one less bad than Shadow's Den, but it's still pretty bad. It could be recency bias, but this card is kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, well, no, I think it's actually a thing. Like, I mean, literally, no matter what card you destroy, it's bringing it back, right? Is really what's happening. So, if you're prioritizing cards you don't like, it's gonna just bring them back. So you have to kill it first. This also breaks the way you balance the game around monster frequency. See, so also you're counting cards like the Old God has to return to. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Siege Engine, I think one below Shadow's Den feels about right. Because attacking your structures first is bad, but I wouldn't say it's nearly as bad as it just starting to pick off your people. So we're going with that, I guess. 2 cards. Amplification Tower, that's the top tier card. All monsters and minions now have 3 power level. So, I mean, it's not particularly bad for monsters, but minions having 3 power level, because, like, you know, World Ender would have 3 power level instead. It probably should have, like, a different name than Amplification. That's a thematic thing, though. Because it sets everything to 3 power level rather than it. But there's generally going to be more minions on the board than anything else, so I think that's going to go up here with the scary boys. And then lastly, a Chaos Gate removes 2 units from all structures. Again, this isn't gonna kill cards. I think it would be slightly above. Oh, it's actually pretty weak. I'll put it by Abyssal Domain. Yeah, Abyssal Amplification Hour would also kill something you otherwise wouldn't be able to. Yeah, I mean, if you draw it the same turn as a World Ender or Rift Spawner, it's not that bad, but... I don't know, maybe it goes here. I think that's our tier list. Do we wanna put spells in here? Do we wanna rank the spells too real quick, or do we wanna, what do we think? Next, it's true, but on higher god difficulties it would be bad with minions on the board. That's true. We'll put it slightly below these other two because it's about on par with drawing 2 lands, I would say. Let's do it. Okay. Demoralize. Each player removes 5 units from any number of cards they control. Cannot drop below 1. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, it's basically like getting attacked by a level of 5. I mean, it's pretty not bad. Maybe Nethermuck level. Like, it's kind of worse than... Or is it worse than being... Is it, like... Stinky, not very powerful at all. Maybe even, like... Well, no, I guess it can't kill. It's probably, like, Shade level. Maybe? Because these guys can technically deal more damage. I mean, of course... Yeah, honestly, it's probably more like... More like that. Yeah, I'd rather see Demoralize than the Ravager. I agree. Desolation. Nethermuck minus the body, minus the ability to kill. Yeah, exactly. Because you get to spread the damage out. You take... Yeah, it's really not that bad. I like it as an ability. It is screwed us over a few times, but it's mostly like early game that it screwed us over. Desolation, I would say, goes in the this tier, because it's just destroying a card. You get to choose what card it is. Maybe it's not that bad. I don't know if it's actually that bad, because you get to choose what card it is. I mean, it sucks, but like maybe it's more here. Yeah, each player destroys 1 card that you can play that you control. Lands cannot be destroyed with structure on them. Yeah, it's not that bad because you get to pick. Actually, I'm gonna put it here, because I think I would rather... I'd rather draw a Desolation than a Shadow's Den, but I'm kind of on par with a Siege Engine, I think. Yeah, I think there. Wrath is situationally bad, but really arguably kind of mid-tier. Because a lot of time it's just... because it should say minions as well, so... arguably a lot of time it's just a minion also attacking twice. But it could be something as bad as World Ender attacking twice. Wait, isn't that what happened, Bradley? Didn't we draw World Ender Wrath, and then the World Ender died, and then we drew it again with Void Rift? Isn't that what happened? I'm pretty sure that's what happened. It was like the worst combination of cards you could get. But arguably, I think Wrath is like kind of mid. Like here, maybe. Maybe even weaker than that. Maybe like a Chaos Worm. Yeah, that is what happened. It's so funny. Like, what are the chances that happens? I mean, it was a terrible draw, but I don't think it's actually that scary of a card. Because most of the times it was drawn, it was like, we just got attacked twice by a minion, right? So I think I'm gonna go with Chaos, like kind of Chaos Worm level. Yeah, I agree with the placement of Wrath is situationally terrible. Yeah, the fact that we got 2 cards destroyed by World Ender was like awful. It was like, wow. Yeah, it's very situationally terrible, but not really that bad. Terrify. All players must move 10 units from the choice of their heroes they control to lands or structures they control. Is it on par with Demoralize? I mean, the problem with it is it leaves your heroes really open to attack. And it's 10 units. I would say it's probably around Demoralize levels of bad. It could potentially be worse. Like, we could put it before an Endling, but I think it's... because you're not losing the units, you're just temporarily not having them on your heroes. I'm gonna go with that for now. And then Stupefy, all players must discard a card from their hand. Oh wait, I have 2 more. 3 more. 3 more. Stupefy. By another Muck, maybe? It could even be weaker than that. I mean, discarding a card from your hand kind of sucks. It's another one that's situationally bad. But again, you get to choose what card it is, so it's not as bad. I'm gonna put it there. I would say it's slightly worse than Terrify, but... you choose the card with Suicide. Yeah. Yeah, all players must discard a card from their hand. Just any card. So yeah, you can choose. I don't think it's... I think it's slightly worse than Terrify or Demoralize, but not by much. That could be an interesting card, actually. Like, discard your entire hand and redraw cards. That could actually be a nefarious swap, but I like our current situation. Yeah, if you choose cards, it's really not that bad. Yeah, it's not that bad, but I would say it's slightly worse than those two, so we'll put it there. I'm wondering if spells actually aren't that scary. Ambush, I think, is probably one of the stronger ones, but I would say it's not... reveal the top 3 cards, Old Gods deck, put all monsters revealed into play, discard the rest. I would say... this could be situationally really bad again, you know? I'd put that there. I don't think it's as bad as Desolation. I mean, it could be. No, spells weren't even that scary. This one could be, because it could mean like 3 monsters spawning your board, but a lot of time it means it's just discarding cards that it would normally have in play. I mean, maybe it's as... no, it's worse than... it's worse than Wrath. Yeah, I think it being here is okay. Bradley, you're saying the game needs stronger spells. Spells, again, I think are really situationally bad. Like most of them, at least. They're never really, like, horrible on their own. I was tempted, honestly, to change spells to, like, events. Cause me and Kyle were talking about this. We were talking about where is it? What future ideas? The idea that I don't even know where I put it. It's not even here anymore. The idea that you have alternate like enemy win conditions or something. Like if this is the example he gave. He's like, it's a bad example, but like the concept is there. It's like if the old god controls 10 minions, they win the game, right? And I was tempted to have spells be like something that like when played, it goes into like a slot that when the like when that it's like an event essentially, right? Kind of weird idea, but what if you had event deck instead of spells and the cards you drew from the event deck would be in play for the rest of the turn? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Or maybe they overwrite each other the rest of the turn. Yeah, you said. I was thinking even like they just stay active, like, you know, you place them next to your god and they like kind of overwrite each other. And then events like, yeah, like if you control this number of minions, the old god wins, or like if they have whatever, like give them like different win conditions, or, you know, make it so it's like something like amplification tower, right, would be a good sort of event type card. I mean, maybe that just structures, and that's fine. We can just change structures to be more like that, because that's almost how structures function. But I don't know. And Nefarious Swap, we just changed. I would say Nefarious Swap is on par with Surprise Ambush. How do we feel about our tier list? Should we go over it once? Or does this look good from a distance here? I feel good about it, to be honest. Me too. Surprisingly, like a lot of things are kind of more on par than I thought they would be, but Windows key Shift S. There we go. Well, it's fun to have a tier list. I mean, yeah, we could probably make less categories, but Siege can maybe go up, but we're splitting hairs. Yeah, but I don't think Siege and Shadow's Den are really equally as bad. I mean, it could go like maybe in between. But yeah, I think that's good enough. I'm gonna save this. Save game. Tier list. Maybe we'll add to the tier list. Maybe we'll do a player tier list next time. I feel like a real streamer now. I did a tier list on stream. But I do think that's got to be what we end with, and I'll probably come back on Friday and actually use this tier list to finish the balancing, because it's 3 hours. It's 10:13 for me right now, so I need to relax for the rest of the day. But yeah, I think that's good. We're gonna leave. We're done. All right, y'all. I think it's about time I go to bed. I'm a sleepy boy. Luna, come here. Come say hi. Why are you staring at the door? Hey. No? Cats, you know? Yeah, I feel y'all. All right, y'all. I will see you on Friday if you stop by. I'm gonna go to sleep, and yeah, I'll probably. So the goals on Friday is we're going to change the defeated effects, make those work. We may potentially tweak power level. Good night, Beats. Good night, chatties. The old chatties. Yeah, but we're gonna do tweak defeated effect, maybe slightly tweak some power levels, and then there's maybe a few little other notes for me to fix, and then we'll maybe we'll do some rules clarification because Maximus loves them so much. So and then yeah, there's a few other little tweaks, but yeah, anyway, thank you for joining me. I will see you guys later. I am also working on another devlog for Soul, so that should come out somewhat soon. Anyway, I love rules. Woo! You love rules as much as Bradley loves drawing cards. So, but yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you. Appreciate it. Always appreciate you guys coming out. It makes my day. It really does. Yeah, it makes streaming fun. Anyway, all right. See ya.